Hi, my name is Allison Johnson, and I'm with the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. I'm so excited to share with you an overview of the newly released Kentucky Profile of Transition Practices, or the KPTP. So let's dive in. What is the Kentucky Profile of Transition Practices, or KPTP? Well, the KPTP is a reflective tool. We've designed it to support districts in reviewing current post-secondary transition practices and programs, and to help districts improve post-secondary transition outcomes for students with disabilities by implementing the core components. This supports district continuous improvement by encouraging ongoing reflection on the features embedded in post-secondary transition programming and practices. Who should use the KPTP? It's designed simply for transition teams. Now, we've defined transition teams fairly broadly. It's a group of people who are invested in improving post-secondary transition outcomes for students with disabilities and have some responsibility in the provision of transition services or programs. This may include teachers, administrators, employment specialists, related service providers, representatives from the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, OVR, or other state or community agencies or organizations which provide transition services. And of course, families and students themselves are vital to any conversation about post-secondary transition. The KPTP is organized around 5 core components: student-focused planning, program structures, student development, family engagement, and interagency collaboration. Each core component is further broken into foundational features, which describe activities associated with that specific core component, and well-integrated practices, which are examples of what the foundational features might look like in practice in a school or district. The well-integrated practices are just examples. They are not requirements. We're just providing examples for transition teams to consider as they reflect upon their own practices and programs. This is what the KPTP actually looks like. Each core component is defined within its own section. After the core component has been explained, there's a chart with all of the foundational features in the left-hand column and the associated examples of well-integrated practices in the right-hand column. The KPTP also has a section of guiding questions. These guiding questions are intended to assist transition teams in reflecting on current post-secondary transition practices. What is happening now, and what evidence do we have that it's happening that way? On our needs and assets, what features do we need to focus on in order to improve outcomes for students? Or do we have any assets or areas in which we are strong that we can lean on to push our transition work in a different direction? And our next steps. What are our short-term goals and expected outcomes? And how will we know we have achieved our goals? The KPTP includes 2 appendices. The first is a guiding questions template. This template takes all of the guiding questions I just discussed and lays them out with space for note-taking so that teams can easily reflect on how each core component is being used. This template is intended to be used with only one core component at a time. The second appendix is an action plan template, which is designed to assist teams in developing work plans in order to achieve their identified short-term goals. Finally, the KPTP has a resources section with general transition information, as well as specific resources on family engagement, interagency collaboration, and culturally responsive transition practices. This has just been a brief overview of the KPTP. I am more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Again, my name is Allison Johnson. You can reach me at allison.johnson@education.ky.gov or 502-564-4970, extension 4507. Thank you for listening.